What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the right side of the map in the blue color, playing as Thor. His name is Joe. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Odin. His name is Count Von Count. And this map, you guys may be wondering, it looks a lot like Midgard, but I can guarantee you it is not Midgard because it is mega random, competitive mega random. And we do have a fish spawn here for you guys on this one. You can see how much it is not competitive mega random with the water being cut off over there. So we'll see how things are going to go here. We've got a Norse mirror for you. This one is a part of the losers bracket of the Flame tournament, the Map Masters, where we get to see a whole bunch of fun maps here in this tournament, and we get to see all of the top players kind of playing on it and how it's all going to go. I believe it was random gods here for this map. So both players playing random, both players getting Norse, and we'll see how things are going to go here. Now, we do get the Thor on this map, which I do think is arguably a little bit better than the Odin. Reason is that on a big fish, on a fish boom map like this competitive mega random spawn, you're going to be able to make yourself a 5-minute advance time with 18 fishing ship and have a lot more economy going. Not only that, with all the extra economy, you can get yourself out armory upgrades, which give you even more of an advantage over the Odin player going forward. So you definitely want to be rushing here in this map, on this matchup, with a big fish boom. So we'll see how things are going to go. If we take a look at how much fish is actually here, you get 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. It's an absurd amount of fish. And if you want to get it all, you can, but it's just an absurd amount of fish here, as we do see Joe actually deciding to go for his hunt over here, which might be a little bit of a mistake here. It might be a little bit of a mistake. The best builds for Thor do revolve around the hunt is on top of an ox cart, but not getting an ox cart for your hunt, because you just want to be getting yourself the goats and just staying one ox cart while you're waiting to get to the next age, because this gold mine lasts until the classical age. Not only that, because you have a ton of extra food income, getting yourself the extra dwarves out and utilizing them on the wood is actually a really, really good idea. You only effectively lose out on about 2 wood per dwarf that you throw onto a tree over getting a gatherer in the early stages of the game. And the reason for that is that the dwarf takes 2 seconds longer to train than a gatherer, but gathers at exactly the same rate at base upgrades. So there's really no significant benefit to building gatherers over building dwarves in the early game here as Thor, if your plan is to throw them over onto gold a little bit later. And that should be your plan here with Norse, because you're going to need all that XX gold income to make all of that food that you're going to get from the fishing ships and spend that. So that's why I recommend getting those dwarves out early here. As we move over here and we check out what's happening here for Count Von Count. Looks like he is spamming his own fishing ships out. He's going for a forward temple here. Makes a lot of sense. No extra dock, though, is a little bit risky here. I hope he gets an extra dock so that these fishing ships over here are going to be a little bit more useful. The other thing is that both players don't really know what the map looks like just yet. They haven't scouted. They didn't send their fishing ship around here to check out. Now, they might be aware that this is just a spawn and they don't need to search, but I highly doubt that's the case, considering how few games have actually been played on competitive mega random. We'll see how things are going to go here, as more fishing ships just coming out for Joe. Freya on the way very early for Count Von Count. The temple coming up here now for Joe as well, as I'm sure we're going to start seeing some Hersa coming through. Surprised to see Count Von Count actually go for Freya here. If Count Von Count was going to go for a very early rush with his fast advance here, or relatively fast advance here, I would have thought Heimdall would have been really good, because you can just go in and take out the town center with a bit of a sneaky move here, as we do see the Skraeling coming up onto this position. Count Von Count going to be dropping a dock down here. Very, very sneaky. This is close to his opponent here as well, Joe. And Joe's going to have to think about how he's going to defend that, because Joe hasn't gone for too much of a dock on the other side of the map either here just yet. As the Olfsark does spot this, and he's like, all right, I'm going to move over here and drop a dock down now on that location. We'll see how things are going to go as the Ravens flying above on this location here. We see an immediate longhouse getting dropped down. And the problem here for Joe is if he's not got the experience in the Norse War on water, he's going to be finding himself a very, very difficult position. Because the problem is if you don't drop military buildings immediately as Norse in the Norse War, oftentimes you just can't catch up. You'll just be floating like 1,000 food, and your opponent's got out 115 population. You're like, if only I could spend my resources, but you just don't have the time to drop the military buildings or the wood to drop the military buildings. As you do see an immediate forest fire over here. Joe's going to be losing a ton of HP here as the villagers retreat away. That is a 1 in a million forest fire there by Count Von Count as he manages to do so much damage. Now those villagers are all incredibly weak, and they're going to be getting picked off one by one moving forward here. A beautiful forest fire there from Count Von. I take it all back. Always go Freya. Always cast forest fire straight away because it's always going to get you that much value. Anyways, beautiful play by Count Von Count. The villagers all sitting in here, and the Valkyrie's just going to be searching around. Look at that low HP on those villagers over here. Count Von Count knows it as well. Joe also kind of knows it as well. He's on the straggler tree here. As the villagers coming in over here, he's going to be retreating back. We see the Valkyrie going to get targeted down now, and Joe needs to work this one out. How is he going to be able to gather wood moving forward? These villagers over here, maybe onto this wood line over here, as the villagers now making their way through. We're starting to see the units coming out. We've got raiding cavalry, we've got throwing action, we got Herser coming through. A huge amount of units coming in onto this position. As now we see a longboat coming out onto this position, starting to get some raids happening as the dock is down, as fishing ships starting to come out for Joe, but he doesn't really have the resources. Look at this food income here for Joe. Plenty of food. He's probably going to have to spam out Ulfsarks here from these longhouses, but he doesn't have. At this point, he does not have the houses. Nice defense thus far. The Raven flying overhead for Count Von Count as the villagers getting taken down over on this location. One villager does end up going down. Nice play there by Count Von Count. He's up 2 villagers, but he is down 2 fishing ships. So Joe does have that over Count Von Count, but at this point the longboats are getting some good damage done. Joe still does not have the wood income just yet. He needs to maybe just drop a wall here. Just drop a wall. One wall. Defend these villages so they don't get harassed. The thrown axeman could come in and just pick off so many of these villages as well, as we do see an ox cart coming through here. 65 of 65 population. A very, very close spawn indeed here as the houses coming down onto this location here for Count Von Count. He is throwing it all in. Whenever you put houses up on the front, I say this even though I don't do this myself, but you are asking for them to get targeted down. You need to throw up your houses in your home base if you can help it. But in these situations here, Count Von Count just wants population because he's got so many resources to be spending, so much income to be spending here in this map and in this matchup. We do see some fishing ships coming out onto this location as well here as the longboats coming through here. Joe's attempting to defend this one as best as he can. 2 longboats out, 3 longboats out. He should be able to defend here now. As the longboats coming through, a little bit of micro coming in here from both Joe and Count Von Count, as Joe doesn't really want to overcommit to this too much, as we do see the raids coming through. Look at those low HP villagers wanting to get taken down. No walls up just yet by Joe to defend that, as one villager goes down. The raiding cavalry and the Valkyrie retreat back, and now Count Von Count can hit on the other side of the map right now, as well as one nice play that Count Von Count could do is turn onto the longboats as well. While this is all going down, we do see the villagers retreating back here as Joe's trying to regroup his army, but at this point, Joe doesn't really have an answer to those throwing action here, as the villagers moving over onto this snowy pine over here, as the dwarves pulling back over onto this location as well. Joe's in a very, very difficult position here as Count Von Count realizes it. He's trying to get in, trying to pressure all of the different wood lines over here, as the throwing axeman getting some good damage done, and Joe has to retreat back. Joe needs to get out some raiding cavalry, more longhouses down, but he just does not have the production just yet. Meanwhile, over here we do see all of the longboats of Joe have been taken down. Now Count Von Count can move back over. We do have 4 longboats down now, though, for Joe. As not only that, but the gold mine getting pushed off now, as the villagers retreating back into the town center, going to be moving up onto this gold mine, this wood line over here as well, as Count Von Count's pressure is mounting here. Joe not getting too much income here, as Count Von Count's 115 of 115 population. He could decide to get a second town center. He could decide to go to the heroic age. He could do whatever he really feels like now in this position. as the throwing axeman getting some good damage done. And Joe, in the 8th minute and 50 seconds of mark of this game, does decide to tap out. And you can see exactly how quickly it can go wrong for the Norse player here if they don't play the meta here on this type of hybrid maps. 730 food in the bank there. Joe gets absolutely cut off everything useful on this map, and he can no longer continue to survive here. Double longhouse here only, trying to make out Ulfsarks against those throwing axemen here. You gotta get yourself those longhouses down straight away and start pumping those very useful units. You can start with throwing axemen if you want. If you have the advantage, you can start with throwing axemen, and sometimes you can win in the early game, but after that, you kind of need to go into those throwing axemen, raiding cavalry compositions to deal with what your opponent's doing here. But in this game, Joe just could not make it happen. The forest fire was just absurdly strong here, and he could not get what he needed out to continue in this game. I do think that a singular wall here would have been enough to hold for a little bit longer, and then getting yourself out some throwing axemen after having that time to get more longhouses and more resources out would have been really, really good, but he just could not make that work. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.